Hey family, welcome back to my channel. Happy Friday. It's Patricia, and today we are having that conversation because that conversation needs to be had. We are talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of gray hair. So I'm going to talk about my journey real quick. I'm going to give you a little history of my hair, and then we are going to go into the good, the bad, and the ugly of walking around with these silver highlights, these natural platinum highlights that we have in our hair. So my journey starts off with I was an avid hair weave wearer. I loved me some weave. Went from doing weave into wigs, and wigs are, wigs are not a taboo thing anymore. Wigs are a fashion statement. You've got young people wearing wigs, teenagers wearing wigs. Wigs aren't a big deal. So I really transitioned into wearing my hair out when I started seeing these teenagers walking around with gray hair, and I'm like, okay, like everybody, musicians and dancers and just normal teenagers, everybody's rocking this gray hair. And I'm looking like, well, heck, if they can do it, why can't I? I have some notes jotted down, so if you see me looking down or to the side, I just want to make sure that I tell you everything that I had thought about and wanted to say. So I can't even tell you when my hair went gray because I was weaved up and wigged up for so long. So I've had grays, here and there for a while, but it seems like kind of overnight my hair just went from black with some gray in it to salt and pepper. And like one day I just woke up and looked at my hair and was like, what happened? So one day I wake up, I'm salt and pepper, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. We still gonna do this because I was still actively, working in hair shows and, doing YouTube videos. I've told you guys the start of my channel was doing natural hair content. So I was still doing all this natural hair content. So I really didn't think too much about the whole gray thing because, I was still doing content and everybody was happy. But there were also some issues. I did notice that I didn't really get as much hits with content once my hair like changed over as I did when it was more black, when it was black with just a little speck of gray in it, as opposed to salt and pepper. I'm just saying. So let's just get into the ugly. We're going to start off with the bad and we're going to end on a positive note. So let's just go straight into the ugly. Ugly. I had someone ask me, I was out with a girlfriend. I have two examples. First one, I was out with a girlfriend and a guy asked, was I my girlfriend's mother? You heard that right. He asked, was I my girlfriend's mother? And what was really the salt on the wound was the girlfriend thought it was cute and laughed. So at that point, I proceeded to walk away and leave her and dude in the dust. So now she's running behind me, screaming for me to stop. It just caught me so off guard. That's the thing that really peed me off. You know what I mean? Because it's like, usually if you expect it, then you have that snappy comeback to snap somebody back in their place for trying to come at you like that. But since it was the first time it had ever, I done dropped my paper. The first time it had ever happened, I was like stunned. I was a deer in the headlights. I could not believe that this person had asked me that question. And yeah, my feelings were hurt because I'm like, for real? Do I look that old? Example number 2. I was asked if I was my girlfriend's daughter's grandmother. Granted, the daughter around that time was probably maybe 5. I want to say 5, maybe 6. I think it might have been around 5. So yes, technically, I could have been a young grandma to her, but once again, it was just that shock of, and it wasn't even, the person didn't ask me. I overheard the child asking the other child, the birthday girl, my girlfriend's daughter. So one of her friends asked her, "Hey, is that your grandma?" So I say that to say this journey is not for the meek. You are going to have your head right. You're going to have to just come into this knowing this is, I'm not crying. I swear to God, there is something on my eyelid. You're going to have to come into this journey knowing this is what you want to do, because you are going to get some things said to you at first that are not going to be what you think. There's some things that are going to be said that might hurt your feelings. It happens. The bad. We're going to move on to the bad now. So it gets a little bit better, but so for me, the bad is, as I said earlier, social media. Once I started, as my hair changed, I noticed that my audience started to change along with it. Did I lose some of my audience? Maybe, I'll just say it changed. And I noticed that some companies weren't reaching out like they were before when my hair was more black with just a little sprigs of gray here and there. I've noticed that you have to do a little bit more now that you're coming in gray haired. I do wear makeup a little bit more to try and spruce up my look. I don't really do it because of the gray hair per se, but I know it does help. Most of the time, if you see me like really made up, it's because I'm doing something, I'm creating content for someone, and I know that company expects me to come in looking cute, so I need to get done up to, present an image that's acceptable for this company. So I have noticed that people that have gray hair that are content creators, they will spruce themselves up more. Be it with their hair, they might do some tricks and little fancy things with their gray to make it more appealing. They're wearing makeup, outfits, a little flyer, a little hotter. Not to say that we're coming on, trying to be half naked, but, just keeping up your appearance to make yourself be the best looking version of you that you can present to the public. What really annoys me, which is nothing that has to do with me per se, but it's on the back of my mind because it was spoken about this week on TV. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Sex and the City reboot. They came out with the movie and then they turned around and they're doing some type of series on HBO Max. And the 3 women that participated in it got so much flack because they showed themselves as they are today instead of trying to remake themselves back into what they were 20 years ago or whenever the original came out. So one of the women is fully gray, the other has, the other 2 have gray showing, and people were talking about them and that they were grandmas and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, really? Because they presented a real version of themselves, we're going to talk about them? But yet, when men in Hollywood go gray, oh, they're a silver fox, they look so distinguished, they look so handsome, and all this stuff. But when women go gray, then all of a sudden we look like hags and has-beens and old maids and whatever else you want to call us. So if this is a journey that you're thinking about going on, you're going to have to come into it with your mind made up. You will not be stopped. You are full steam ahead on this journey, and you really have to get to a point where you just don't care what people think. That right there is the key. And I've had a girlfriend that has had that mindset from like decades, and She tried to get me to embrace it years ago, and I was just kind of, still caught up in, what people think about me and trying to be liked and all this stuff. And finally, probably about 3 years ago, 4 ish, I really started to embrace it. And I'd say the past couple of years, I've been like steadfast with it. And it is so freeing. I had to go to her and was like, girl, I am finally there. It's like I see you and we see each other. Because once you get to a point where you don't care what people think and you just gonna do you and be unapologetic about it, then that is gonna give you that boldness to be able to step in any room and be like, I'm that chick, I'm that guy, what? And not worry about what people think. And people seeing you embrace, your hair like that is gonna influence people and help them to embrace it as well. Which brings me into the good. We're finally at the good part. So, been on this journey for a minute now. My hair has changed over. We got the highlights going on. Everything is just coming into its own. I will say it is still a journey for me because as my hair is changing and becoming more gray, there are certain areas and pieces that are now doing their own thing. Like the hair in my sideburns some of it is straight and it's like sticking out. And I'm like, where did that come from? So I've noticed that it seems like, I don't want to say the grade is changing, but I guess in this transformation, it's doing something. So the hair in the top of my head is a lot finer and a lot thinner than the hair in the back. And I've always had like 3 different grades of hair. So it's going through that transition. So I'm in a place where I'm really trying to concentrate instead of doing all the content and trying out 8 million different brands, because that's what hair creators do. Trying to just stick with a handful of brands and really just use a brand for like a month. That is my goal, to just stick with one brand for a month, see how my hair reacts to it, and then go from there. And then maybe do the next brand for a month and just see what is going to work. Because right now my hair has a mind of its own, and that's what happens with gray hair. Gray hair can be very uncontrollable. If you want to zig, it's going to zag. And you just have to the secret is finding products that work for you and just stick with it. Which brings me to what's over here on the side. So with me embracing this gray journey, I have had a couple of hair brands that I have worked with that also embrace the gray journey, the silver, the gray journey, and blonde journey too. So one of the companies is MAISON 276. This is one of the boxes. I'm an ambassador for this company. They have a 3-step system that I use. So there is a clarifying shampoo that is going to get all the gunk that we put in our hair, all the different potions and creams and gels and all the stuff that, sticks to your hair and weighs it down and just lays on top of your hair and won't let your hair be great. So you use the clarifying shampoo first. That's going to get all that stuff out. Then you have the hydrating shampoo. So that's your second shampoo. And then there is a conditioner. That is the 3rd step. So this is going to protect your hair, and it's going to let that brightness shine through. So the brightness of your grays, your silvers, and even your blondes is going to work with this, because we know blonde hair can go through the same troubles as gray hair. You get gook that gets stuck on the blonde hair as well, which makes it look brassy and straw-like and just bleh. So this is good for that too. I will have links below for these as well as a discount code. I just want to put that out there. And secondly, silver hair box. which is a subscription box. And I've been bringing you the boxes lately to show you that. And I just wanted to bring these forward because there is a movie called Gray is the New Blonde, and that is produced by the owner of the Silver Hair Box. I will have that below as well. Produced and created by. So the Silver Hair Box just has all kinds of goodies in it. This is one of the last boxes. I'll link the video above for that as well. But you get just all kinds of little goodies and, you know, things that go along with embracing your gray hair journey. So you're going to get shampoos, conditioners. These earrings are from the Silver Hair Box as well. These little heart earrings. So you get all kinds of things that help you embrace the new you, that help you, of course, bling through your journey, be sparkly and fancy and fly. And I love that. And their mantra is to take care of your hair because it is the only crown you, reading is still fundamental, it's the only crown you'll never take off. So I just love that. And, you know, these are two companies that I stand behind and embrace because they are there for us. So that's part of my personal good, is being able to work with these two companies to provide, you know, help and assistance and joy, you know, to you, to help you on your journey. My next good is that people actually like my hair. And it shocks me sometimes because, you know, you walk around with your hair, you're not really thinking about it. You throw it up in a puff, or, you know, you put your braids in, or however you're wearing it, and you just keep it pushing. And I saw a relative that I hadn't seen in like probably 3 years recently. And she actually asked me, because as I said, my hair has transitioned. Like one day I woke up, it was black with a little gray to salt and pepper. So she hadn't seen me since it had started changing over. And she was like, "Did you dye your hair to look like that?" I'm like, "What? Like, who dyes their hair to look like this?" And I'm like, "No." And another relative that had seen me since was like, "No, that's her natural hair." And she's like, "Oh my God, it's so pretty." And I was just shocked because, once again, you know, you're not thinking about your hair, but other people are looking at your hair and admiring your hair, whether you think about it or not. So, really shocked. That is not the first time that that's happened to me. I don't think my hair is extraordinary. It's not like it's down to my boobs. It's not like it's full like a lion's mane or anything like that. But people seem to like it. So I'm like, okay, I must be doing something right. Over the holiday, my nephew's girlfriend, who I had seen once before, you know, a little young girl in her 20s, she was like, I had my hair in like 2 little pony poofs, and that was how I wore it. It wasn't like it was fancy. It wasn't like it was like curled specifically or anything. And she was like, "I love your hair. It's so cute." I was just like, "Oh my God, thanks, girl." So it gets attention. So that's another thing. Don't be surprised once you start rocking your gray and your silver that people stop you, people compliment you, people ask questions. They might ask if you dyed it to look that way, because right now gray hair is in. You know, the kids are rocking the gray. You have celebrities that are going from blonde to gray or black to gray or whatever. So people are playing around with their hair. They're rocking everything from pink to green to blue to gray. So since gray is now an in color, you know, people might actually ask you, did you dye your hair to look like that? And you can proudly say, "No, this is my natural hair." So I feel like if we can just get through the little negative that might occur in the beginning, if you can get through that to embrace, you know, this or whatever your this is, then you're golden. But you got to start the process somewhere. And I found that people see me rocking my natural gray hair, and it does make people, I've had so many conversations with people where they see my hair and they're like, I wish I could do that, but I'm not sure. Oh, it wouldn't look right on me. Oh, my hair is unruly. Da 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 da. Well, how are you ever going to manage the hair if you don't let it out, let it be free, and figure out what to do to manage it? It's like you have to start somewhere. You can't just keep hiding it and keep dyeing it and saying, well, I don't know, and what if, and coulda, shoulda, woulda. And I know it's probably somebody saying, oh, well, that's easy for you to say because X, Y, and Z. No, it's a process for everybody. It's a coming out for everybody to let this be out and to take whatever arrows might come with this being out. But once you get to a process with it, find the products that work for you, find the hairstyle that works for you, whether it's a certain cut, whether you're just wearing it a certain way. Find what works for you and rock it. You're good. I find that our positivity in wearing our gray hair out, our silver hair out, can be an inspiration to others to let them know it's okay. You're gonna make it. You're still gonna look good. You're gonna be fly. You just gotta take that first step and embrace your natural gray and silver hair. You have to just come into the process flat-footed and just be like, this is what I'm gonna do, what, and just go for it. So if you need help or assistance in it, holla at your girl. I got you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.